Well, hey guys. Well, in the last episode of buying a cheap used car, I told you I would reveal to you what I had bought as an example of a good cheap used car. And you may think it's this one, this Oldsmobile, but it's not. This is a good cheap used car, but it's not the one I bought recently. So let's show you what I came up with. This is a 2000 Honda Accord LX, and I found this on Craigslist. As a matter of fact, I bought it from a neighbor down the street, a resident, and I'll just give you the tour of it. And before I do that, I'll tell you what, I had a budget of $3,000 for a car, and I got this one for $2,000. I've been considering a Honda. As I told you, I think Hondas are very, very good used cars, especially if they're rust free. And you know that the maintenance has been kept up on it. But around here, there's a lot of old cheap Hondas, but there's not many newer ones. And to buy newer, I'd say 98 on it. So let's take a look at this thing. It looks all original. It's got some fading up here on the hood, and especially on the roof and back across the roof and stuff like that. That's common on these, but the rest of it looks like the original paint. So that's a good thing. It's got these parts store replacement hubcaps, which I detest. I'm going to replace them and get the right ones for it. That makes it look even cheaper than it is, if you ask me. But it's got a good set of matched tires on it. They've got probably about 10,000 miles left on them. Back here at the back, you'll notice looks like her trunk lines are off a little bit, and what that is it's been whacked in the back end. And I don't know what it is about Hondas that they all get a hit to the back end during their lives, but this one has. It's kind of popped the bumper out a little bit and kind of knocked this around. So it doesn't affect its driving, and it doesn't leak water into the trunk, and the trunk works. So it's not a big deal to me. It's missing its Accord labels there. And you know what? I went to the junkyard looking for. They had a few of these in the junkyard. I went looking for some more of those, and every one of them's gone. I wonder if it's like a gang symbol initiation, or who knows, man. I didn't know they were that sought after. But so anyway, this side is the same as the other, pretty much same condition. Glass is good in it. Like I said, it's just your standard LX. The headlights were kind of discolored and faded, so I polished those out. They look good now. And one thing that sold me on this car, it had a good clean engine compartment, except that, well, it does now. Actually, it had an oil leak, a pretty bad oil leak from the valve cover. I noticed that right away. Somebody had, I guess, popped the valve cover off, maybe set the valves or something, and had reused the same original valve cover gasket, and it was dry, so it didn't seal, so it was leaking oil all around. So it was still clean in here, so it wasn't a problem. But I have since changed that valve cover gasket. That's not fun when they're that old either. But what sold me on this car is it already had quite a bit of maintenance done on it. The most important thing is it had a timing belt put on it about 35,000 miles ago. And while I had the valve cover off, I did check and look, and it does have a Honda timing belt on it, so that's a good thing. Looks like it's had a newer radiator put in. We didn't mention that, but it looks newer. And it's had a new battery put on it, and it's had new plug wires and plugs put in. And what else? They had something that, but new belts. put on it, so it had a lot of the important maintenance done on it. And that means a lot when you're buying a Honda, because you know, you get into some money having to do that kind of. That's why I kind of shied away from the Honda at first, because I thought, well, you know, unless I have records of what's been done to it, I'm going to have to do all that again, and I'm getting tired of it. So I wasn't necessarily going to buy a Honda. So that's what it needed. Oh yeah, they put fans in it too, he said. So they spent some money on it, keeping it up, and that's the thing you want to look for. You want to look at the stuff like that's been taken care of, and so that was good news for me. So I have replaced the valve cover gasket and all that, so that's a good thing. It's done. It runs fine. It doesn't throw any check engine lights or anything like that. Just runs good. Still checking to see how much oil it's using. He said it used a little bit of oil, so so far I've changed the oil in it, and it's down about maybe a fourth of a quart in all the driving I've done, so it doesn't appear to be too bad. But that is something to consider on these older Hondas, especially one with the miles that this one has on it. This one has 237,000 miles on it. That, for whatever reason, they tend to use a little bit of oil, so you need to keep that in mind if you're thinking about buying one. Let's look at the inside of it. It was as quiet as could be all morning, and then this afternoon all the residents are spending all their time driving somewhere, I guess, residents. But in here, it's just your standard issue. This is the most important thing. It is a 5-speed, and as I was telling you about on that video about Hondas, I'm real leery of automatic Hondas. The closest candidate I found a car I would be interested in buying, I found a 2002, I think it was, Civic Coupe that had a little bit less miles on it than this one did, and but it was an automatic. Yeah. So, but everything works in here. A stereo, CD player, heat and air, clock. It's my GPS up there. Power windows, power door locks. This thing's a little bit loose, and one of the buttons is out of it. It does not work, so that was broken. And I had to go in. You know, I showed you that. Had to be kind of sneaky. I was telling you about the dash lights and everything, but it had several little lights burned out. One behind the clock, one behind, or two of them behind this thing, and then one behind the odometer up here. So they were not hard to replace physically. It's easy to get this stuff out. There's a lot, and that's why I'm saying there's a lot of tutorials on how to replace these, so I didn't want to do a video of it. But just your standard issue Honda. It's nothing special about it. It seems to be in good shape in here. I can tell they've had a dog in here, so there's dog hair here and there. It's been smoked in. You can see the burn marks here where they've been thumping their ashes out. I tell you, for life of me, I don't know why people want to smoke. There's a few over there on that thing. A burn hole up here too, so it smelled a little bit like smoke. I cleaned it up inside a lot. I keep getting this gunk coming up on the windshield, and I don't know if you can see that, but it does that a little bit, so I'm hoping that's just smoke residue that's circulating around in here that I've just not got all the way off. I hope it's not a heater core that's trying to leak a little bit. I don't smell any antifreeze. Back here looks good. You can see it's got, I thought that was a headliner material dropping down right there, but that's actually the board has got a little bit of a warp in it now. It doesn't look quite right, but the rest of it's okay. It's got more burn holes there, so it had its manuals and stuff in here with it. Let's see if I can dig that out real quick. I was going to show you part of it. It's interesting. Every time you look for something, you can find everything what you want. It's got all that in it. Jeez Louise. There we go. Sorry, I probably made you dizzy there on the camera like that, but it's got the window sticker with it. And this was really just a standard car. It didn't have any options on it. I think what it is, I'm probably missing part of this, because usually the way that Honda and Toyota did, and probably still do, is that they just made a standard one here, and then any options it had, like formats, or if it had like a CD player or something like that in it, they would make another little sticker over the side and jack the price up. And they always have that. Toyota was real bad about having that Toyota. Used to have Toyo Guard. It was like a paint sealer protectant crap. That's the biggest ripoff there ever is. We've got a Kia dealer that's down here in Gadsden. It's called Kia Store Gadsden, or Rainbow City. I think it's Rainbow City. And every one of his vehicles, he sticks on bug guard and everything, and charges like $800 for it. I wouldn't pay that to save my life. But anyway, this car, you know, for the people that like to bitch about buying a foreign car when we could be buying an American car, look right here. Final assembly point, Marysville, Ohio. Country of origin engine, USA. Transmission, Japan. Major sources of foreign parts content, 25% Japanese, 70%, I don't know where the other 5%'s at, but 70% US Canadian. So quit your bitching. It came from America. It was built in America. The only thing came from there was a damn transmission. City miles per gallon 25, highway miles per gallon is about right. That's about what it's getting. You can imagine it gets better mileage than that car does. So this one came in. This was sold at Ed Voiles Honda, 2103 Cobb Parkway, Marietta, Georgia. Yeah. So yeah, guys, that's what you can get, you know. And like I said, I would suggest you get a much better deal buying a car from like somebody you know, because you get, usually if you buy it from a dealer, you don't have the records normally. So, and that's always important to me, you know, like that thing. And part of this is I'm just getting burned out on buying junk. Like, well, not, that car's not junk, but buying that little Reno, there's making payments. I mean, there's no point in that when you can buy something like this. It saves you money. So anyway, that's what I came up with. And I would, like I said, let me reiterate about the automatics in these cars. Don't buy one if you don't know it's been rebuilt or a new one put in it. Get the paperwork. If you can't get the paperwork, if it's just somebody's word of mouth, or dealer doesn't, I don't know, then pass on it. It's not worth it. And I'll tell you, I've had 3 of these now. Car runs like a sewing machine, doesn't it? That's with that good old computer controlled carburetor. But I've had 3 of these. I've had a 96, I've had this 2000, I've had a 2005, and I tell you, this car reminds me much more of the 96 than it does the later version. The 03 up is a heck of a car, and I've had good luck with all of them, and I expect this one to be the same. So thanks for watching, guys. Ask any questions, please rate, comment, subscribe, and tune back in for more. See ya.